So you're home alone and you want to go sober. You don't know what to do. You've lost your friends. You might be suicidal. You're depressed. I have advice for you. I've been sober over 10 years. I did it by myself. After thousands of relapses, I just had enough. And one day I just walked back home, got sober, ignored my drinking friends, got two jobs, and here I am. So I'll give you some pointers and thanks for watching. My name is Eric Johnson. I'm a internet marketer, blogger, love to work from home, but the isolation can kill me. I mean, it's really a rough time right now for a lot of people. Suicide rate is skyrocketing. Overdoses, all over the place. It's just like a war zone, and we know what's going on. We can't really say anything, or, we'll get blocked or whatever. I'm not going to get into politics, but you know what I mean. So, this is what happened. This is my story, and maybe you can, think about what I'm saying, maybe write down some tips. But I had to be sick of it. I had to be so sick of it because I went back out drinking hundreds of times. I said I was going to get sober. This is my last night. I mean, we do that all the time. This is my last night, man. I'm not going to drink anymore. And then a day to a week later, we're drinking again. So this is what worked for me. No, I was getting drunk twice a day. I barely had a job. I worked 2 days a week as a caregiver, and I could literally drink at work as well. I was drinking and driving. I had like 200 empties and behind my car seat. My car stunk like beer. My house smelled like beer. I didn't even have a house. I lived in a converted school bus, but there was beer cans all over the place. My only friends were literally homeless guys that set up tents next door, and they were on social security disability, so they didn't have to work. They just got, two or three 40s a day and just sat around and grumbled and yelled up at the sky, and pathetic, right? And I was starting to be like that. All my normal friends from high school were long gone. They were scared to come over because they knew that I would be wasted or something. And it was just gross. And so finally I was like, all right, I'm done. And I was dating this girl who was very volatile, but she was also enabling me to drink. She didn't want to see me suffer. And when I was coming off of alcohol, I was shaking and I was just like, baby, please go get a six pack. And she'd be like, okay. So there's a lot of codependency with alcoholism. If you ever watch the show Intervention, they're like enabling the drinker to drink more almost because they feel sorry for them. They don't want to get help. They don't want to see them sick or see them, angry. So they go out and buy the drugs or alcohol for them. So, if you got codependent people around you, they're going to, they're going to help you, and you have to get rid of that. You have to just stop all of the craziness and know for sure that you want to quit this time. And you'll know when you're at your bottom. You will feel it in your heart. It's like a thud in your heart. It's just like, boom. Okay, I know. I am done. I am done drinking. That's it. I'm done. I am willing to give away everything that I have left. My drinking friends, girlfriends, whatever. I I know I have to get rid of them all. So the last day that I drank, I was living with this girl. It was crazy. We were fighting, fist fights, and she kicked me out. Then would invite me back in, and she bought me beer every day. And I knew I couldn't live that way anymore. I was literally dying. So I was like, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her I was done with her. I had two beers left in the fridge. And one morning I I had enough. This skateboarder punk came over who was friends with my girlfriend, and he was talking crap to me, and I couldn't kick him out of the house because I was shaking under the covers of my bed, because it's 8 in the morning. This guy must have been on speed or something when he came over, been up all night, and he just started, shaming me, just being a dick. And I felt so defenseless that was actually the thing that got me sober. If I saw him today, I'd be like, thanks for getting me sober. And he'd be like, what are you talking about, man? And I don't care if he's a punk or an idiot. I'm like, I would thank him because he being a total dumbass skateboarder punk actually got me to the point where I was like, okay, I'm defenseless. I'm shaking in the bed. I'm naked. I got empties all over my bed. And that was it. So I took the last two beers that were in the fridge. Now, this is important because you can die from alcohol withdrawals. So I believe that the last day I had those two beers, I slowly sipped on them and I knew it was over. I knew my drinking was over. And I still had my school bus. So I walked back home with those two beers in my backpack. I slowly nursed on them and I knew I was done. So, um, from then on, it took about a week of slowly trying to stomach just like yogurt without throwing it up. Um, and I think those two beers saved me from dying. But I'm not justifying the beer. You could always go to treatment and they have medicine to help you get off of alcohol because you don't want to die. You don't want to go cold turkey if you're drinking like a fifth a day. So I drank those two beers. I slowly started to, I slept like 14 hours a day. I said no to, my friends were gone, but I told the homeless guys to go away. The girlfriend tried coming over to get me back, and I was like, I just need to think by myself for a while. And I kept telling her that for like a month until she finally got it that I was not coming back to her house. I was in my place. And if you don't have a place to go to, save up your money and get the F out of the town you're in. You have to get away from all of your drinking triggers, friends, people, places, things that trigger you, that remind you of drinking. And don't think about the past when drinking was good. Don't think about the good old days. You have to think about the bad crap that always happened when you drank. Play it all the way through. Yeah, the buzz was great and I was the life of the party. We'll play it all the way through and what happened later that night. You got wasted, you puked, you got beat up, you were a fool, you embarrassed yourself, you drank and drove. Play it all the way through and it wasn't cool. All right. You got to really wake up and really look at how you became. An honest review of your life, how many people you hurt, your parents, your siblings, you made them cry, you made them stressed out. You really got to think about all of that stuff and really turn yourself off about your drinking. You got to really be real, not just like, oh yeah, I was the life of the party. No, you weren't. You were a fool later on that night. You got to really think about all of it. Anyways, I got two jobs after a week when I got my health back to where I could literally stand and not tremble and want to fall down. I got two jobs cooking. I worked from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. I saved all my money. I went straight home from work. I didn't talk to anyone for 2 years. And you could go to AA as well if you're feeling too lonely or isolated. You can go to 90 meetings in 90 days. That's what they want you to do. Get a sponsor. Look around the room and find the coolest looking person that you think you can relate to. Maybe listen to them talk. And then after the meeting, go up to them and say, hey, would you sponsor me, or at least can we have some coffee and you tell me some tips on how you got sober, you know? But I wanted to just be alone. So I literally got a pink turtle from a supermarket. He had big eyes, and I know it sounds foolish, but I was so lonely at one point that I bought this turtle to cuddle, and I just read at night and drank tea. And I still smoked cigarettes then, so I would have a nice cigarette and tea, and I'd have my pink turtle next to me on the bed. And it was lonely for a while. But after that, I found a girl who was sober. She didn't like drinking. I started dating her, and then we eventually moved out of that town. I was stuck in that town. I could never make enough money to get out of that town. But when I got with her, we saved our money together. I bought a new school bus and we literally drove out of that town. Never saw those old friends again. It's been over 9 years since I've lived in that town. And I've been sober ever since with a couple 2 day relapses. Um, so, relapse can be part of recovery, but I don't recommend it. I'm not saying you have to relapse to be in recovery. It's just I had a couple slip ups, but I never wanted to drink again. I was like, ooh, why did I revisit that? That's horrible. Horrible stuff. Just the smell of old beer and old cigarettes and drinking and dialing old friends. Why did I call her? Why did I call him? I never wanted to talk to them again. So you never want to go back to drinking because you'll find your old friends and you'll be back at exactly what you were doing, when you quit. And you'll go back to the velocity that you were at in a couple weeks if you relapse. And you could do some scary things when you're drunk. You might go look for some other drugs, and you could die. So it is literally life or death, guys. But if you're home alone and you're drinking and you don't know what to do, just stop the drinking, stay away from people, any people that remind you of drinking, move out of that town or move to another house across the city. Just try to get away from your past and then go to meetings or get the big book from AA. You can download it on Amazon, Alcoholics Anonymous, the blue book or the big book. Start reading, go to meetings, drink tea, maybe have a candy bar or a little treat at night, because alcoholics crave sugar. But then eventually don't, watch out. You don't want to become have a eating addiction either. You don't want to turn from one addiction to another. So but, try to find something that's rewarding, that's healthy. Go to a gym or start going for walks in the morning. Start journaling. Just stay busy with healthy things. And eventually you'll get stronger and stronger, but you can never go back to drinking because you will die. And that's it. So if you're home alone and you're drinking and you're depressed, I hope you found this video. You can always leave a comment. We can start talking on YouTube. I mean, to a certain extent, I can't, keep answering hundreds of questions and fill up the whole page under the video. But if you have a couple questions, feel free to ask. I hope this helps. Sobriety is worth it. It's definitely worth it. Life is too short, and I was going to die. I was 36 when I quit drinking. I'm 49 now. And I had a heart attack when I was 32. I would have died. So just me doing this video and maybe helping someone out there is worth my 2 cents. It's worth being alive for, to help somebody else. So after you get some sobriety under your belt, start helping someone else. It's the best feeling in the world because us alcoholics can tear apart our lives and not have anything to be proud of. And it'll beat down our self-esteem. It'll make us feel low. When I went back out drinking every time, it lowered my self-esteem a little bit more. Like, wow, I couldn't even stay sober one day. I am such a loser. And then all the other things, getting arrested, getting tickets, getting beat up by a girlfriend, all those things tore me down. And it's not a way to live. And most people, they can't handle it and they commit suicide. So if you're watching this, you still have hope and people love you. They want to see the old you back. They want to see the light in your eyes. I had dead fish eyes when I was in the last days of drinking. I looked in the mirror and I was scared at what I saw because I had dead fish eyes. And I was like, what the hell what am I doing with my life? And I couldn't even be a good caregiver, drinking on the job, getting drunk at jobs, getting fired from jobs, drinking in the morning, drinking at 4 a.m., drinking around the clock, getting drunk twice or three times a day, drinking and driving, pissing the bed every night to where I didn't even change the sheets anymore. I just slept without sheets because I was pissing myself every night. It's not a life, man. It's like being a demon on this earth, a gross, dirty demon with no redeeming value. I was just a taker and self centered, couldn't think about anything but getting my fix. And that's what addicts do. And it is a spiritual war. Demon alcohol, you know, I've done some evil things on alcohol because I think you can open up the portal to demon influence. They're just waiting to get inside of you. And if you're unconscious or passing in and out and you're around some wicked people, they could, demons can jump inside of you. And you're probably like, you might be like, wow, man, that's out there. But it's true. There's demons everywhere, just waiting to find a host to jump into. So don't be that guy or girl that gets passed out and gets raped or, gets into some weird, crazy stuff because it gets demented, it gets deranged, it gets very dark. The more you drink, the more you drug, especially if you're doing meth. That's a spiritual death right there if you're doing meth. I've tried it several times, and I'm glad I couldn't find it because I would have kept doing it, and my soul would be pretty much fried right now. So love you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Let's do this again, and keep me posted on how your sobriety is going and what you're doing, and or if you're struggling and you're still drinking, leave a comment, and we'll keep going.